And could you tell us about the book you've been reading about?
The book I've been reading is called Feminism and Suffrage, and it's about feminism in the late 1800s, like pre-Civil War feminism, and it's basically telling what people don't know about feminism right now. We think of feminism only like from the 70s and 1969 women's liberation movement, but that wasn't where it actually began. It began even before the suffrage movement, but the suffragists they took it forward by giving us the right to vote. And people say, oh well, the right to vote isn't much because we're voting for our own oppressors now. But the problem is if we didn't give them, if we didn't have the right to vote, then we'd probably still be, way down where we were before, just churning butter and, popping out babies all the time, and that was our basic job. And we seem to forget all the time that these women, it was like a crime to not wear a dress. I mean, to show your ankles was bad, I mean, what we have now is so much more than that, and people forget about these women. They say they didn't really do anything, but the problem is that they did more than anyone else has, really, because they had to start the movement. They had to start the organizations. They were on their own, with no help from men. They were disowned by their husbands and their fathers sometimes, and they were looked at critically for having what a father would consider a great thing in a son was not acceptable. When you were a daughter, you had to be owned by your husband and your father.
Yeah, my name's Tony Wong. I'm 16. I'm with two groups in Indianapolis, Indiana, Animal Defense League and the Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade.
And I heard you got arrested. For what cause was that?
It was for anti-fur activism.
Was it getting arrested on purpose, or?
Yeah, civil disobedience, which is intentional breaking of laws which the person feels are unjust.
What was the reason for getting arrested for?
I was arrested for blockading an entrance to a shopping center that rented out space to a department store that sold fur coats and fur lining.
And I heard you didn't eat for a couple months. Was it a few months or 2 months? Or?
It was 2 months.
Why did you do the hunger strike in jail? Or was it juvie?
Yeah, it was juvenile jail. I went on a hunger strike to draw attention to injustice of imprisoning me for basically defending oppressed animals.
What influenced you to go on a hunger strike?
Hunger strikes, I think, are very powerful ways of showing people, activists and the general public, that you're willing to suffer, to draw attention to the fact that you're being punished for trying to save animal lives.
And I heard at your last hunger strike, they force-fed you, and how was that?
They force-fed me for 30 days, citing that because I was a juvenile, that the warden of the jail had legal guardianship over me, and that they could do that, and I was not about to consent to taking. Go ahead.
Did your hunger strike accomplish anything or reach the public?
Yeah, I definitely think it did. It brought the issue out into the air. A lot of people in Indianapolis right now, if not thinking about the fur issue, they're thinking about the fact that the juvenile system has so easily screwed someone over, a non-violent demonstrator, for trying to defend these defenseless animals.
What is your opinion about people who are in animal rights don't care about humans?
Well, that doesn't make sense because humans are animals. That's fact, and animal rights, a lot of times people in the animal rights movement focus on issues of non-human animals because they see that as more pressing than other issues, but at the same time, a lot of animal rights people also cross over into human rights issues and earth liberation, human liberation. So it really is all one struggle. Animal rights people focus more on the animal issue.
What band you're involved with?